Hello, so let's look at some more complex output. So if we run this right now, we're going to see that everything shows up on its own line in the output, right? Every time we've used print so far, it's added what we call a new line character, or a slash n, or backslash n, excuse me, that is pushing us down to the next line. But we might not want that. What if we want all these to be on one line? This may be a little bit long, but let's see what we can do. Well, when we do print, we can add a second argument that's a special argument, and it's going to look like this. End equals, and then it's going to be some kind of string. And this is what should happen at the end of the print. So we'll say end equals a space inside of quotation marks, and let's run the module now. So we can see the second sentence is now immediately following the first sentence. And we can even add, instead of this, we could put a comma in here. And let's add another one. N equals semicolon, whatever we happen to want. And then let's leave this one alone so we can see all of them working. And so now you can see there's a comma here. There's a semicolon. Now this one was so long it wrapped around in my shell, and that's okay. That's going to happen. But we can see that it's really trying to write it on the same line. And it's actually good to see that this will happen, because watch what happens if I resize this. It's really on that first line. It's just not able to display it that way. So if you ever have that happen and you want to check, you can always make your shell really wide so you can see if it's really on one line or on more than one line. So let's pull that back though. So, well, that's okay. So now we know how we can control the ends of prints. But what about those separators? Maybe I want something separating these that's not a space. Remember, it's adding that space for me. That's awful nice of it. But what if I want to control what's separating it? Well, we can do that. All we have to do is add in the sep extra argument here at the end. And again, we're going to put inside single quotes whatever we want the separator to be. So let's put some stars. Let's see what happens for that. And over here, let's put something a little more realistic. Let's put maybe some commas. Making a comma-separated list here. Let's see what happens. And there we go. So we see that we can add stars between them, or we can put commas between them. And the combination of these two is pretty powerful. But there is one more thing that we can do. What if we want to print something out and we want it to always be sliding over a tab space? Or between these we want a tab space. Well, we can do that. Let's go back and put in another ABC here so we can see two of them next to each other. And let's put in a separator of a tab. So to do that, I can't just hit tab. That doesn't really what we're looking for. What we're going to do is a backtick. The backslash, excuse me. The backslash is the other sort of direction of the forward slash. And there's a bunch of standard characters called escape characters that you can use. So the tab character is \T. So this is going to put a tab, between each one of these. And if we see this work, we'll see that we're going to now get some tabs between each one. Now let's see what happens if we put a new line between each one. So new lines are \ns. These are probably the two most common ones that you should probably remember and see how it is that they work. This one is going to now put a new line after every item, which is sort of going to look the same as if we'd had a bunch of print statements, right? So between being able to set the ends of print and the separators of the arguments in print, we can control a lot of sort of what automatically is happening with our print commands. Now there's more stuff even than this that we can do. We're going to take a look at adding in some number formatting as well. But there is one more thing we should be aware of with this, because this also sometimes can work similar, especially to this one, is let's use the plus command with strings. Because we did operators without strings, but let's see what happens if we do that. This is adding strings. Let's see what happens here. So when we add strings, we can see that we were able to add spacing. But look, my spacing's all goofy, right? I got two spaces there, one there, one there. And that's Why the commas, I think, a better approach because they give you this separator option in the language, because it's very easy to accidentally put a space after one word and then also add a space in front of the next, and it really looks bad when that happens. So I'd encourage you to use the separators, but sometimes it's really useful to be able to just use that plus to add some things together. You know what the formatting is going to look like, and if you're careful, it'll work just as well. Okay, so that is most of the standard print things that we're going to talk about. We're also going to take a look at number formats next.